Hey there, my friends. Frederick here. So, I've got a new album out. It's called The Illusion of Choice. It's coming out on Spotify in September, and it's out now on Bandcamp. The title, The Illusion of Choice, is, it has something to do with the election and the way that, it always seems like by the time it comes down to two candidates, there's not really a choice anymore. Anyway, all kinds of things like this. But here's the thing. I'm going to try to promote this on social media. And if I'm going to promote it on social media, the only one that I have is Instagram. I feel like I need to give a little bit of background information on this, because at one point I was very active on the Instagram. Maybe some of you remember when I was on there, and doing stuff. And at one point I just left all of that, and there's a reason, and I've been debating whether or not to go into this video at all for quite some time, but I'm gonna do it because it really needs to be said, and it's time for me to address that, especially for all the people who I really felt like were my friends on there. And I really enjoyed so much interacting with them and, hearing their music and their projects and all the things they were doing. But I'm just going to give you a little background about what I think about social media and how I've kind of related to social media for a long time. Basically, in a nutshell, I've never liked it. I've always been very suspicious of it, and even going way back, like, when people used to have those chat rooms and all of that kind of thing, I never did any of that. I was always like, no, thank you. I don't want any of that. I don't want any, participating in forums, subreddit forums, Reddit forums, and all this kind of stuff. Even things like, there used to be a forum called Symbolholic, where everybody talked about like vintage symbols and a lot of cool symbols, and there's some good information on there, but just so far as participating, and I was always very leery of it, and I've never had a Facebook account, ever. And I remember at one point I was in this band, and my friend in the band, he was making this has been quite some time ago, he was making a MySpace page. And we were on tour, and I was like, what is that? And I was looking at what he was doing, and he was like, oh, this is this thing called MySpace, and you should get one of these because you could promote your music and everything. And I was just like, no, thank you. I don't want any of that. So anyway, to make a long story short, at one point when I lived in New York, I decided to get a Tumblr account just to make a photo diary. And, I would just take little snapshots with my iPhone. You'd see the craziest things. People would like write a poem and like post it on, stick it up on like a wall in the subway in New York, and it might be good. I would take a picture of it, things like that. And then at one point it was like I couldn't post to the Tumblr anymore, and I was trying to figure out why it was not working. And I read something about how if you posted to Instagram and uploaded it to Tumblr, it would go through. It was like a glitch with the app. So I tried it because I'd already had an Instagram account from way back when those things first came out. And if I recall correctly, you had to post all of your photos in a square format. And I think you even had to have the filters baked in. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So I didn't do anything with that. But then, since it was working with the Tumblr, I thought, well, I'll just use that. And I never did any like hashtags or any of that kind of stuff. And then I was like, one day I think I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see what happens if I hashtag this stuff. And lo and behold, people started to like comment and like and all this kind of stuff. And then from there I found that it was like, oh, there's this whole world of people making really creative music, and it's really awesome. And I just love that people would like, you know, post whatever kind of little ambient drone thing that they had made that afternoon and share it with everyone. And it was just a really cool community, and I liked it a lot. I was really into it, and I didn't think I would be at all, because like I said, very suspicious of the whole thing. And honestly, had I known when I started using Instagram that it had been purchased in that meantime by Facebook, I would have never started on there. But I'm glad I did, because I liked it. So that was all good. And then around 2020, something started getting weird. And the comments started getting weird. My comments on YouTube started getting weird. And it basically went from there to harassment. There were a lot of comments that happened on YouTube that I just didn't even allow to go through. They immediately got flagged, and I would see them much later on because I never even looked at that section. And then I was like, what is all this? And it was pretty weird. And, you know, it was not nice. I'll just say. But the thing that was really weird about it, and what really freaked me out and turned me off of the whole thing, was that it became apparent to me that it was something that was organized. It wasn't just some kind of like one-off nut job that was like, you know, trolling around. It was something else. And I was like, well, this is not good. And because I was really anti the whole thing anyway, I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm out of here. I'm not dealing. Now, I shouldn't have done that. Because in a way, that's kind of letting them win. That's kind of letting them win. And it's like, well, you can't run me out of here because you're an asshole, basically. And that's pretty much what I did. But it really freaked me out because I wasn't prepared for whatever that was. And to this day, I still don't really know what that was about. So anyway, I just signed out and said, forget it. But I've thought about it a lot over the course of all that time, and the idea of letting them win with whatever it is that they were trying to do for whatever reason, which is a mystery. And I don't know if it was like just all like bots and none of that was real or what all that was, but it was very strange, and it happened around all that COVID time business, and I don't know. But if I'm going to come back and I'm going to promote my stuff on there, then I felt like, especially to the people that I really felt like I had a relationship with on there and were so supportive of my music, I felt like I owed some kind of a explanation as to why I would just like up and leave. And that's why. And if anybody has any idea about what that could have been, or what that was about, I would love for you to please let me know. I would love to know. So anyway, The Illusion of Choice. It's out now on Bandcamp, and To all the people that support me on Bandcamp, I appreciate that very much, that have checked out the albums and purchased them. There's going to be 10 handmade cassettes, and I made these myself with using Magic Sequoia and the trusty Tascam 202 Mark 7 real-time duplication, and they're going to be available for purchase. I'm not really sure exactly how I want to go about doing that. More on that later. But I'll tell you about the album. This one's a little different, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with how it came out. It's going to be what I would call an electro-acoustic album. But it's got like modular synth, it's got guitar loops, there's a lot of amplified percussion with loops and recordings of that, things like earth plates, Tibetan singing bowls. I've got ambisonic field recordings. There's recordings of like HVAC systems and electric hand fans. Using these with like the ambisonic microphone and heaters, and then just a lot of processing in various ways of all this kind of stuff. There's videos with each one of the tracks, which will be on YouTube, so you can see basically they were all pretty much made in real time, just recorded to 2-track. Let me know about this. This is what I was getting to with the subscription and or with the purchase of the cassette. There's a lot of different things on Bandcamp now that I'm not really familiar with. Like I haven't really looked at it in a long time, so far as what they offer and all this stuff. But apparently now there's like a subscription offer, and I thought about maybe making it so that the cassette, like if you do the subscription, you get the cassette as a part of that. But the more I thought about that, I'm not much like social media, I'm not real big on subscriptions anyway. It's not, I don't know, there's just something about it. If it's the kind of thing that is like, you could do the subscription or you can just buy it outright, that's okay to me, and I think that's how it is on Bandcamp. But with that, I felt like I didn't want to tie getting the cassette, if somebody really wants one, to having to do the subscription, because if you were like me, I would pretty much anything that's subscription based, I just pass on it. If it's got to be a subscription to get it, I'm just like, I'm pretty sure I can do without it. So I didn't really want to do that. But you guys tell me what you think. Maybe most people have a different feeling about that. The other thing that I have learned about Bandcamp fairly recently is all this AI business. I don't know about all that, but maybe you guys tell me what you think about it. I'm not too worried about it. It seems like a lot of people really got upset over it, and I definitely understand why. I mean, who really wants these AI models training on your music so that they can then produce it? But I don't know. That's kind of, I feel like that's fighting a losing battle. If you're gonna bail out on Bandcamp because of that, there's a lot that's just like, they're gonna do it. But I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about that. All this stuff, the fixed price. I believe what I want to do is fixed price for the cassette. You can buy it outright if you want to have the cassette. You can buy it. It's not tied to anything else. The other option that I learned about is to pay your own price. I thought about trying that with this particular album. Give me your thoughts. I'd love to know. For 2025, my goals are to put out 6 albums. This is going to be the first one. I've already got the second one cooking up right now. But let's see if I can make it for 6 albums for the year 2025. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Pick up the album on Bandcamp if you so choose. And if not on Bandcamp, our friends at Spotify are going to have it available on all those streaming places. That'll be February 1st. Okay. And if you found this content really useful, consider joining me over at my Patreon. Your support there is most appreciated and helps me to continue making this content. As always, thanks for listening. Have a great day.